Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Murfreesboro.com podcast show. Appreciate you tuning in. As always, I am John I. Carey, your host, and this is going to be a good one today. I'm going to tell you all right now. We have, it's Classen. Michael Classen, General Manager of Middle Point Landfill right here in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, you got it. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you all agreeing to come on. This was really cool of you to do. So
for sure.
I know that's the landfill is kind of a touchy subject for some people. We get that. And so for you to be able to agree to say, bring it on, I was like, that's pretty cool.
100%.
Yeah. So, but, and also I do want to put this out there for people watching that you were brought in mid 2021. Right?
Yep. Early 2021. Okay. Been here almost going on 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I think that the genesis of that is really, we, and I'm always the first one to say this, is we have not always done all the right things here. We have not always been a great corporate citizen. We've not always been a great neighbor. We've not always done the things that we need to be doing to be part of this community. We've invested a lot of money to be here. We have a lot of employees here, and we want to be here for the long term. So the company kind of saw that as well. And tapped me on the shoulder and said, get up there and go solve this.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what I've been trying to do for the last 3 years is coming up here and really engaging the community, getting out and meeting people like yourself and taking care of business there at Middle Point.
Awesome. So you were brought in to help with a lot of the issues that were already there. You were not the cause of these issues. So I just want to put that out for everybody watching and listening. Okay. So
I mean, I'll own it. You can direct it at me. That's my job. So we got to stand up to it. We got to say when we did things the wrong way. Right. And we also need to take credit when we do things the right way. And honestly, the last 3 years, we've been doing a lot of things the right way. Yeah. And a lot of that is starting to pay off for us now. And
I definitely want to get into that because I know you all have done stuff in the community. And like even this past storm, you all helped out with a bunch of stuff. So we'll talk about that.
Sure.
But let's talk about you first.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Like your background and like why waste management? What got you here?
Trash,
like, Did you wake up one day like I want to play in trash?
Yeah, I tell my fiance. She introduced me, and I'm like, I'm a garbage man. Yeah, and I actually love that. So it's I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Originally, went to school at the University of Nebraska. Got a degree in biological systems engineering.
Wait, hold on. University of Nebraska?
Yeah.
Get out.
Cornhuskers.
Get out.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
But I mean, it's hard to be a fan these days.
I'm
honestly.
just kidding.
Back in the 1990s and early 2000s, it was sweet.
Yeah, it was easy then.
Yeah. So look, I came right out of school and got a job in solid waste. I wasn't planning. I love the environment. Despite what it may seem being a landfill employee, I'm an environmentalist at heart. I'm very passionate about protecting our natural resources. And I saw waste and I got into it a little bit and, it's really a public service. Everyone thinks, just like when you flush your toilet, right? Yeah. You flush your toilet, you don't think about what happens to it after you do that.
No.
Right? No, you never do. You just know it gets taken care of. Yeah. Right? It's like magic, honestly. Trash is the same. You roll your cart out to the curb. You never think about it again. So it's truly a public service. It's a public service that's really interesting where a lot of times you have cities that take care of it. And then you also have these big, huge Fortune 200 companies like Republic Services that take care of it. So spent the first kind of 15 years of my career designing facilities, planning long-term facilities, building facilities, that type of thing. Okay. And Republic was a client of mine. And then they asked me to come down to Atlanta, work down in Atlanta as the area engineer, kind of covering all of the engineering, environmental compliance, and capital projects for 34 facilities in the Southeast United States. And Middle Point was one of those sites. Okay. And so that was 2018, I came to Republic. And then 2021, they asked me to come up here. And the rest is history.
Dang. Okay. So engineer, there you go.
Only ever worked in trash.
Okay, gotcha.
I am an engineer, yes, but I love the operational side of it. I love the people of that. I love getting my boots dirty and being out there and making it happen.
Yeah. Just a little side story. When I was little, my mom worked for an environmental firm when I was little. And they used to let me work there in the summers and pay me out of petty cash when I was little. But anyways, I remember there was a gentleman there. He had like a triple degree in chemical engineering, bioengineering, something. And the guy he was like 26, very smart guy, right? But watching him work, and they would go take these ground samples of stuff for things like this. So, and you got some smart people over there working. I mean, you guys are chemists and engineers and all this stuff, figuring this stuff out. And so I just thought it was fascinating. So I'm just throwing that out there.
You're absolutely right, though. It's super complex what we do. I mean, there's the level of regulation, and rightfully so. Like, we should be a highly regulated site.
Totally.
But solid waste facilities, landfills, just like coal-fired power, mining, other that can be potentially environmentally impactful, there's a lot of regulation, a lot of science behind making sure that we're protecting our natural resources.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, cool. So how have things been coming along for the 3 years that you've been over there?
Everything is not, it's not, I always tell people that our progress is like a stock in the market, right? It's not always linear. It's not always one directional.
Yeah.
It's a really complex, people don't understand necessarily that landfills are a big biological reactor kind of happening all the time.
Okay.
The buried waste is buried within this highly engineered containment structure that's there to protect groundwater and protect surface water and protect air quality. And it's degrading over time anaerobically, meaning without oxygen. So as that waste decomposes, it's producing all sorts of things. It's producing landfill gas, which is the gas that can be emitted to the atmosphere, can cause odors if you're not collecting enough of it. It creates what's called leachate, which is like the liquid that's created as landfill gas, as landfill
that
waste.
Sounds lovely.
So that's all happening. There was a lot of like technical and operational areas that we had to get right away. Okay. And that was our focus. So our focus was, we came out right at the gate. We've invested about $15 million in some core infrastructure systems there at Middle Point Landfill. And since kind of coming here, we've doubled our gas flow. So increased by 50%. Okay. And that's important because if you don't collect the gas and destroy the gas fugitively emits to the atmosphere, and it can have the potential to cause offsite odors. Yeah. So like, it's really important that we are, and that's most of the money was focused in gas collection and destruction, but also in equipment and personnel and operations, just getting a really tight, durable, efficient operation. If you came out today, and actually you should come out to the landfill, and I'll give you a tour. Okay. If you sit there and watch the operation now, it's smooth, it's steady, it's consistent. And that's what we didn't have. Okay. So that was kind of the first focus of ours. Once we kind of got that rolling properly, then our focus was, we got to get out in the community, and we need to understand where people are frustrated. We need to understand why, and we need to start addressing those concerns with schools, with neighbors, with elected officials, with leaders in the community like yourself. And that's been a big focus, and that's really been probably the last, I would say, 12 months. Okay. So we saw the progress, right? We've doubled our gas flow. Odor complaints are down 98%.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we've turned around our resume with TDEC and the EPA. They inspect us at random every single month. Okay. And we used to get violations, and there used to be a lot of problems with those inspections. And now I just got the last one this morning, actually, and it's completely clean. No areas of concern, no violations. And so that's really been the focus. And now, we have a well-running operation. Our job's never done. Yeah, right? I got you. There's a lot of these things, like before, we weren't necessarily picking up all of the litter that's on Jefferson Pike or on 231 on Memorial. That's not our litter, right? That's the trash that's coming off of like city trucks or other trucks bringing the trash to the facility. Yeah, right? It's not ours, but we take ownership of that. And so there's 7.5 miles of roadway now that we walk 3 times a week just to pick up litter as an example. Okay. Right. So stuff like that you just got to go the extra mile to show the community that you care. Yeah. And then we've been spending a lot of time with engaging in schools. So Walter Hill Elementary is right catty corner from us. You can literally see Middle Point out the front door of Walter Hill Elementary. And when I went to visit them the first time, and I saw that, I was like, okay, we gotta really step up for these kids and these teachers. Right. And so we have a pretty robust partnership with them on all sorts of different things. In fact, we just announced that we are giving the school a $120,000 grant to build an outdoor classroom to help create a STEM curriculum. And then to really sort of have a corporate partnership with us at the landfill there. Siegel Elementary, they're coming out here next Friday, actually. All 150 fifth graders are coming out to the landfill on a tour. All right. So anyway, that's how it's been going. That's how it's been going. And that's the focus of ours. And also getting county commissioners out to see us and elected officials here, helping them understand. Because look, the county has a big decision coming up.
Yes, they do.
A very big decision. And that is, what do we want to do when Middle Point reaches its current permitted capacity, which is about 5 years from now. There's a lot of numbers thrown out there. The 2-year number that's been out there is not accurate. Okay. So it's 5 years from now. What do we want to do as a community? Do we want to let Middle Point close, build $20-30 million transfer stations, start paying $65 a ton for trash disposal that's currently free, ship it out of county to somebody else and hope they accept it?
Yeah.
Or do we want to renegotiate our current agreement between the county and between Middle Point and figure out a way to turn what's perceived as a liability into a revenue-generating, flourishing asset? Okay. And that's the way that I like to look at the future. There's a lot of opportunity here, and that's what our eye is on.
Okay, cool. Well, you had mentioned at capacity, so 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? So what determines capacity? Like, is that the size of the land you're on? I'm not sure how that works.
Sure.
So,
Okay. So through the state of Tennessee, TDEC, which is the regulatory agency there, all landfills have like a permitted final geometry. Basically, we have a permitted hill.
The hill.
Okay, got it. So if we can fill up to an elevation of, call it 1,000 feet. Okay. Well, right now we're at 600 feet. So that means we have 400 more feet to go, sort of a thing like that. So that's what your permitted capacity is. Okay. So how high you can fill and to what geometry. And we're basically just building a giant engineered structure to get there. Okay.
Gotcha. Well, when that, like you said, inevitably that day will come, you know, and looking like 5 years. So how's Republic looking at the plan moving forward? Like, do you plan on renegotiating or finding another spot? Or, again, I don't know how that works. So
look, it's really hard to cite. It's probably impossible to cite a new landfill. I would say, especially nobody wants a landfill in their backyard. Yeah, that's just let's just call it what it is.
Yeah,
right?
I got you.
But the fact is that Middle Point is here.
Yeah,
and even if we closed our doors tomorrow, put a padlock on it, it's still like that. You can't ever do anything with that property. That property is what it will always be, a landfill. Yep. So how I like to look at it then is, well, how do we make the most of that then? Like, Rutherford County has an asset here, and they control their own destiny as it relates to waste management. They have a lot of power. The county has a lot of power here to hold Middle Tennessee, not hold them accountable, but help Middle Tennessee fund all of the growth that's happening here that has to be paid for out of property taxes is the only way to do it. So how we look at the future is, and we believe there's a path to get here. We want to sit down at the table with the county, renegotiate our host benefit agreement, basically, and to say, we'd like to expand south onto the county's old, closed, unlined landfill. Okay. Kind of take over the potential environmental liability the county has as a result of that. And then also to say, hey, we understand that you want to put in recycling programs, and we understand you want to put in other diversion programs, and we understand that you want the rest of Middle Tennessee to fund the programs that are happening here. We can do all of that. We can generate revenue for the county that's so desperately needed right now. Through a renegotiated host agreement. Okay,
gotcha. Now, you said if you expanded into that area, I'm just my own curiosity. Are there things that you would do differently than were initially set up if you got a new spot? Or again, I'm a little naive to a lot of this.
All right. So, and I know I'll send you a figure, but imagine like your phone is Middle Point.
Yep.
Well, here is the closed county landfill.
Okay.
And the Stones River kind of runs all the way around it, right? So what we're looking to do is basically say, this is an unlined facility. There's a potential environmental liability associated with it. Okay. We know how to handle those type of liabilities, so we would take it over and then just almost like create one big hill out of those two small hills. Okay. So, as far as like the design, this facility originally started in 1989.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I think that if anyone knew what Murfreesboro would turn into in 1989, we probably would have done things differently.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. A lot of things. Right. A lot of things. Roads, school, you name it. So So, no, totally get that. Okay, cool. But I do want to focus on one thing that you had mentioned. You guys do a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know about for the community, and like I didn't know about Walter Hill Elementary. I didn't know y'all do that with them with their STEM program. That's really cool that y'all do that. And then Siegel and work with them. So what other things you guys do in the community?
Oh, man. So my focus is education. So we're a supporter of MCTS, or MTCS, sorry.
Yeah, I know, I got you.
Oakland High School as well. We've done some support with. So I really think that, look, the way to have the best landfill possible is to put less in it. right? That's the solution here. We have no like government sponsored recycling programs in our city. Like that should change. We need some leadership from like our folks that in leadership positions to say, we need to start putting a cart at every single house. And so I was at Siegel Elementary doing a presentation about how to make landfills better. That was the STEM curriculum.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And the kids get it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I was like, how do you make landfills better? They're like, put less in it. And I'm like, who has a recycling cart at home? And they're like,
yeah.
You know? So it's, I mean, we have to create the program. So that's my focus is getting engaged in our schools first and foremost.
Yeah.
And the kids will educate the adults and help us all. With or without Middle Point, we as a community need to elevate the way we manage waste.
Yeah.
Everybody has a choice when you say, I'm going to throw this in the garbage, or I'm going to throw this in a recycling bin.
Yeah.
What do you choose? And I think most of us, if we're being honest with ourselves, are not really doing what we need to do to help solve the problem ourselves.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I've lived all over the country. I was born in Alaska and, you know, moved all across the country, ended up here. And so I've lived in different places that have had recycling programs. I remember when I was little, what was it? I think Oregon, when I was little, had one that was just, they give you the bins.
Yeah, mandated, right?
Yeah, it was it was like, here's your bins, you know, do it. But it was a free service they offered. Well, I'm sure it was. I mean, I was little at the time. I'm sure it was roped into something, but for my parents. But my parents, we ended up like making games out of it. Like, you know, like one was back when you had newspapers, you know, but it was how many newspapers can we fill, you know, in this one. And so like if we were around and I'd see trash, I'd pick it up and put it in the bin, you know, and stuff. Yeah. And then I lived in one area where it was, you remember that you used to get 5 cents back per can. Oh yeah. You know, stuff like that. Oh yeah. So we'd make a game and how many cans could I bring this week or whatever, and how many could I put in the bin to get money back, and my parents would let me keep the money. But I remember looking back on that, the amount of stuff, you know, that was recycled was a ton. And it was like, man, and it was just, here's your bins, go do your thing, you know? Do you think that would work here? If we
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, recycling works. It's not like the whole country is recycling.
Yeah.
You know, like recycling works. And in fact, it sort of had a resurgence. You know, there's a lot of like old pulp and paper mills that were sort of defunct, especially in the South.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of the big timber industry in the South. Those are being totally revitalized into recycling facilities for corrugated cardboard and papers. Like there is a market. We can access it within just a few hours of the city here. It absolutely will work. We just got to have some regulations, some ordinances, and some leadership in place to make it happen.
Okay. You had mentioned Republic can help with stuff like that and can offset costs and things. Like, how does that work? Like, how can they do that?
Sure. So there's a couple different ways that we usually see that happening. I think generally speaking, you have like the city will say, like take Metro Nashville, for example. Okay. Metro Nashville says, here's a cart. We're going to give you a cart. You can fill it up or not fill it up, but it's going to sit at your home and you're going to have it. And I think generally speaking, if the cart is there, people are going to recycle, right? And so then they have on the backside some partnerships with private companies. I think Waste Management in their circumstance, where they have recycleries where all that material goes to, and then they have a profit sharing agreement with the private partnership.
Got it.
That's one way to do it. Or, you know, we've proposed here or are willing to talk about, you know, building our own recycling facility and then feeding that with recyclables from the community. And then, you know, if we're the ones that paid into it and all of that, if like the city's bringing the material, there's a profit sharing opportunity. So it's revenue generating. Okay. It's sort of a virtuous cycle because you're recycling and that's great. And everybody's making money and that's great. Yeah. And that's the way it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know personally, I would totally do that.
Right.
I mean,
I think most people feel that way.
And you know, there's almost again, this is just me personally speaking, but like almost a stigma attached to it. Like if I saw recycle and then trash, and you see somebody go throw a recyclable, and you're like, oh, no, like, you wrong bin, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so, the green guilt or whatever.
Yeah, the green guilt. I like that. We'll use that. I would you get that out of that bin, put it in that bin.
You're quality assuring the trash can.
Yeah, right.
Staying there.
Yeah, but I mean at least with me, that's, you know, I go, nah.
Well, you're looking all big too. Like nobody's throwing it in the wrong bin.
Yeah.
You're standing there.
Just stand there and be like, excuse me.
Excuse me.
That's a recyclable. You put that in there.
That's right.
That's funny. But
that's right.
Okay, well, that's cool. See, one thing I love about these podcasts is, you know, we don't script them. We don't go into them. There's a lot of stuff going into this one I did not know about that I'm learning about. So this is really cool. And I appreciate you educating all of us on this. So,
yeah.
But again, we're big in the community. And so learning about what all you guys do in the community, like the storm, I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
I know you guys did some big stuff with the storm. Like this big storm just came through and
for sure
caused a bunch of damage. What'd you guys do?
Devastating. Reedville, I don't know if you, I'm sure you saw the pictures.
Yeah.
We went down there just right after it happened. And first of all, you have to commend the county.
Yeah.
Rutherford County and the Rutherford County Solid Waste Department, Bishop Wagner, the director of that department, just knocked it out of the park. With
there you go.
Going down there, cleaning up, working long hours. His team just delivered.
All right.
You know, we, our role was much smaller, still an important one.
Yeah.
When you have a natural disaster, that debris has to have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
If Middle Point hadn't existed, we'd be hauling that hour and a half away to the next closest landfill.
Okay.
And those people would not have been able to get back on their feet as quickly as they did. So, you know, we from the beginning, Bishop called me on Sunday right after the tornado came through and said, hey, we got this going on. Can we bring this material to you guys? I said, yes, absolutely. No worries. We opened early at 3 a.m. on Monday morning. They started rolling in, opened early, stayed late. Helped track the quantity of material. Ended up being about 1,400 tons of disaster debris that, that the county picked up and brought to us. And what we said from the beginning is, hey, we're not worried about the money. Let's figure it out later. Let's take care of the people and get them back on their feet. So, you know, if like federal FEMA funding comes through for that, great. Obviously everyone will take it. And if the FEMA funding doesn't come through, we've just said, we'll just absorb that cost. It comes up to about $100,000 worth of disposal cost that will just, you know, it's just part of our role as a good member of this. That's a service that no one else can provide. And when we're ready to do it, we want to.
See, it just reaffirms my faith in this community, though. I mean, like, and of all the places I've lived when I was younger and we came here last, I've been here more than half my life now, but the people here really do care, and it's cool to see that, you know, and it sucks in situations like what happened, but you know, people really come out, and just like you said, it was like, okay, well, if they help, they help. If not, we'll just absorb the cost. It's fine. These people need to get back on their feet.
That's
so
right.
It's really cool to hear that from Republic. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we were one of. There's a lot of people. The Mennonite group. You probably read about that. They came out. They had so much heavy equipment. They were out there just dragging it out of trees. They were going bananas.
I saw pictures. We got a bunch of pictures. People sending us stuff, and I was like, whoa, okay, you came out in herds. It was like, dang.
The city's solid waste department was out there with their grapple trucks, loading county trucks. Like, it was a team effort, and it was really impressive.
You know, it's almost neat. I have friends that own local businesses and stuff, and they were like, let's get our trucks, let's go help. But they were getting turned away because they were like, hey, we have too many people. Right. And I'm like, oh, that's a good problem. That's pretty neat. So
it's so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, living a great
Appreciate you asking that, though. Yeah, it was devastating. I'm from Nebraska. I've seen tornadoes.
Yep.
This was different. This was a different breed, and the folks there just they're strong folks.
Yeah. There you go. So, well, glad to hear that. So that's awesome. But are there how about this? Are there other programs or things that you're not doing that you would like to do to get out? I mean, put it out there. We got an audience.
Community stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we I would say if there's any schools that are listening, we are eager. We are eager to get out there and be part of your curriculum. Okay. So we have our own like supporting curriculum that you can use, or we're happy to go out there and we're able to fund you to come out and tour us, or us to come out and talk to your school, or look for other like support programs there as part of that curriculum. So that's probably the first and foremost thing. Again, education is what I'm super passionate about the most. Yeah. And that's probably the big one.
Okay. Yeah. So with your education and everything you do you find like once people talk to you and they listen to you, they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. And it kind of changes their view a little bit.
I think so. I think that, honestly, in the we didn't always do a very good job of speaking up for ourselves and saying like, wait a second, like there's not just one side to look at this issue. I mean, especially during an election year, like people really like to, rail on landfill, right?
They'll hammer it home.
Right. Absolutely. And people did. But at the end of the day, I think if we're all being honest with ourselves, like it's a complex issue, and we're doing a lot of great things, and we didn't always get out there and tell people about it. Okay. And so I think that's got to be something that we need to do a better job of. But also tours are impactful. Are they? And I mean it. Like y'all should come out. Okay. When you're standing up on 180 feet of trash, sitting up there watching it all come in, you can't smell anything. It smells great. There's not big lines everywhere. It's an orderly, organized, clean operation. That makes you sit back and be like, okay, maybe everything I'm hearing, there's an ulterior motive to some of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not some validity to some of it as well. I would never say that. We're the first ones to own up to where we've not, where we failed. But we gotta take some things with a grain of salt that some folks are saying. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. We've seen that on our, we have quite a following now on social media.
Yeah, you guys really do.
Well, all of our pages combined now, we're over 1 million followers. And so we get some messages and different things, stuff. But I think a lot of, that whole thing, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
That. So, and then people are just drawing their own conclusions like, well, I heard this or I heard that, or they'll see something on TV and they just jump to it. So, because we see a lot of that and we'll see comments from things where I know people are like, that's not right. That's not right. But, of course, we stay neutral on things. But
yeah, of course.
That's, excuse me, I think it's probably a lot in your case, I would imagine.
Yeah, so. I mean, for example, like we call them middle point myths, and they really, they really are that, and when, for example, like there's the belief that there's just like the landfill is poisoning our groundwater and our water supply. Like, so we take samples. We have a network of wells, groundwater wells, all around the perimeter of Middle Point. A total of about 10 spots that we take samples from semi-annually, twice every single year, for a broad array of known contaminants in landfill leachate to make sure that the landfill is not contaminating groundwater. We sample them by a licensed third-party lab. Statistically analyzed by a licensed professional engineering company. All of those reports are public documents available on TDEC's webpage. Any one of us can go there and look at it. And there is a full history that shows we have never had an exceedance of a groundwater protection standard ever.
All right.
So it's like you just got to talk to people about, yes, we can say landfill's poisoning our water. But at the same time, let's look at the data, and the data shows that that's absolutely not happening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, all right. Well, I had mentioned that I put on the Facebook page, about a little bit, about you, and said, hey, if you have any questions and things like that. So it was a lot of the same questions over and over and over. But there were a couple, I don't want to say funny ones, but kind of curveball questions. I want to just because. Pure curiosity, and honestly, I don't know if I should ask this one, but I'm asking anyway.
Okay. So, all right, can't wait for it.
Okay, there were two. I was going to come out with. There were two.
Okay.
That people were. One, you ever find any bodies? And then two, what was the weirdest thing you found in the landfill?
Oh man,
I know we don't have to answer those if you want. We can cut it out. But
I'll just say this: almost like the questions go hand in hand because there's a weird amount of. Dolls, I would say, like life-sized dolls that will show up in the landfill, and it freaks you out because everyone's like, that might be like, it looks like a body.
Okay.
And you go and you're like, no, that's a doll. So
I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Those questions go hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like, wow, that's okay. There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
People have a.
This is a family show. Dare you ask such questions?
That's right.
Well, okay, I appreciate you handling that one. But and then there were some people just asking like, and again, these maybe that you don't know things, and we've actually probably talked about a lot of this. But why can't you just shut down and say we're going to go over here, boom? And so I know there's a lot we touched about a lot of that, but for those that asked, once you hit capacity, whenever that day happens, find 150 acres across town and be like, oh, we're going over there.
Yeah.
So
I wish it was that easy. I really do.
Yeah. Right.
At the end of the day, permitting we call it a greenfield landfill, like taking a field that's used for agriculture or whatever. And repurposing it into a landfill. The amount of permitting and local siting and approvals by any nearby citizens or towns or communities, it's such an extensive process that you really, and this is nationwide. This is not just here. You don't see greenfield landfills getting permitted for for the exact reason. Like people understand that. Those that live closest to landfills are disproportionately impacted by that landfill.
Got it.
Period. Let's just call it like it is.
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
There's the people on the south side of town don't care as much about Middle Point as the people who live in Walter Hill and Las Casas.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
So it's just the technical aspects of it and the political aspects of it. you really just see landfills staying exactly where they are and figuring out how to expand within that existing footprint.
Okay, gotcia.
Yeah. But we've looked at it. Like,
Okay.
we definitely have looked at where else can we site a different landfill that maybe is better. Like, I always like to say landfills are your own best neighbor.
Okay.
Right? Like,
your own best neighbor. Got it.
That's right. It's just being out far away from things is usually better. But also, you got to understand, I think the location of Middle Point has been significant for supporting the growth of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County.
I could agree with that.
You know,
I get it.
transportation is the number one cost of waste management. So if it's close, all of the builders and all of the roofers and all of the small businesses that bring their material to Middle Point, and that's all of Rutherford County and Murfreesboro, if they had to be driving to the north side of Nashville to throw their things away, that's going to significantly impact their business and their costs.
Okay.
So location it's a sword that cuts both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Another one of the questions was, does the landfill accept trash from other counties? And if it does, how far does that reach go?
Sure. So yes, we do.
Okay.
Primarily, technically, I think the number is like 34 counties, and that's a number that gets that's a number that's people are like, whoa, are you crazy? But in reality, we're taking trash from Davidson and Rutherford counties almost exclusively.
Okay.
A few other ones coming in, Putnam County, a few other like smaller amounts. What people don't realize is it's not just Middle Point taking trash from outside counties. Rutherford County sends our trash to other counties also.
Okay.
So about 15% of the trash Rutherford County generates, we send to other counties also. So it's not like it's a one-sided thing, but it's primarily, Nashville, Davidson County does not have their own landfill. Okay. So they're reliant on surrounding communities to hopefully take their the same position that Rutherford County would be in if Middle Point closes. Like, well, shoot, we hope that someone takes our trash. So it's mostly those two counties.
So is that like a revenue generator too as well? Does Davidson County pay Rutherford County for services like that?
Yeah, it's a great point. So for every ton that Davidson County, every ton that any county sends into Rutherford County to Middle Point, we pay Rutherford County about $1.20 per ton. Okay. So that's what we call a host fee. In total, that's about $1 million per year.
Oh, okay.
So that actually funds the entire solid waste department for Rutherford County. So all of the citizen convenience centers, all of the box collection, all of that. Okay. That's funded through the host fees that other counties are paying us to take their trash.
Okay. Is it the same if Rutherford County sends it out about $1.20 per ton?
Each site kind of has their own host agreement with the host county, but generally speaking, that's about what it is. And look, that number, again, I speak about the power of Rutherford County for a renegotiated host agreement. That number is not fixed. Rutherford County could say, no, actually, we want more than that. We want these counties to spend double to bring us their trash, and that way we can create new programs based on that and be a leader in Tennessee.
Well, even just easy math, let's just round down to $1. So if you said it's about $1 million a year, if you raised it 10 cents, that's another $100,000 in revenue. To help fund those programs. Okay, cool. Totally. I get it. Yeah. So that's just 10 cents. That's right. Like you said, if they doubled it, then you got another $1 million.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
very cool.
Especially when we're looking at how do we fund our schools. I mean, this landfill can be a revenue generator for the county, and there's not a lot. Like the county has no other ways to generate revenue other than raise property tax. Okay.
So it sounds, going over all this on paper, on theory of what we're talking about, it sounds like the landfill could actually be quite. How do I word this? Like you let's say you raise the prices a little bit on something like that. Then you can help fund the schools, the recycling programs, the educational programs you do, yada, 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 all those things that we talked about just through the landfill.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
That's what we want to be. Okay. We don't want to be a landfill. Like we're an environmental services company. Yeah. Like what we want to do is landfills are a necessary evil. I look at them as a necessary evil. We want the landfill to be a last resort. We want to build, we call it an integrated solid waste management system for the community with all of those sort of modern ways to manage our materials, extract things that have value, make money on those things, and get out in the community and help the community be part of it.
See, this is another reason I'm really glad you came on the show. Thank you. Because again, none of this is stuff I've ever heard before or even thought of before. Yeah. You look at a landfill, you think trash. Okay. Yeah. Oh, occasionally you smell it. Okay, whatever. Whatever. But to look at it in that way, at least me personally, that kind of changes my view on it. And maybe somebody listening and watching, because I didn't know you did all that stuff. And, the education, you don't know what you don't know, so you're putting it out there. But are there resources or ways people can contact you or anything like that to learn more? Or if certain people in the school districts are watching or listening, they want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, appreciate you asking. So we have our website, which is Middle Point Landfill. If you Google that, we have a dedicated website on there. There's an email address. I believe it actually comes direct to me.
Oh,
so
watch out.
You get what I'm asking for. But look, neighbors know this. Neighbors I'm standing up here out front and saying we want to own what we're doing wrong, and we want to own what we're doing right, and we want to be part of this. So people know if they email me, I'm going to email you back.
Okay.
And a lot of them have my cell phone number now. And
Oh,
I'm
no.
getting texts, and that's okay too. Like, I want people.
Jeff, flash that on the screen.
That's right.
No,
Yeah. Please don't.
he's like, don't do it.
Yeah. But honestly, like we want to be accessible.
Yeah.
So if folks want to reach out, all that contact information's on their website, just Middle Point Landfill. And please do. Please reach out to us and let us know if we can be doing some more, if we're doing things great, if we're doing things not so great. And you should definitely come on out.
No, actually, my interest is piqued now because I like I said, I didn't know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's maybe we have to. Jeff's looking at me. Don't drag me out there. We can go out and do. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that'd be cool. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll work out something. We'll figure that out. So that'd be cool to get a little more education on stuff like this and see what's going on. So But I always like to do this towards the end because I want to be cognizant of your time. We've gone a bit. Thank you for coming. And also, again, thank you for when we started this, started talking, you were like, all right, I said, possibility of going in front of the firing squad. And you're like, bring it on. Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
That's right.
Okay. You got some thick skin. So, but anyways, so with everybody watching, listening, that sort of stuff, floor is yours. If there's anything you want to throw out to people, any message you want them to know or whatever, we like to give it to you and take over.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And thanks for having me on. I think the way you solve all tough problems is by talking to each other. And that's what we're trying to do. And so, that's going to be, this is a regional problem, waste, or a regional need. It needs a regional solution. And so, that's what we think we are. What I would say is, we really do value our role in this community. And that's not just being a place where trash gets thrown away. It goes way deeper than that. And it's like, you got to prove it by showing it. You got to walk the walk.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe we're doing. And that's what we're trying to do. And we've made so much improvement at Middle Point, and I think have really transformed the negative impact on the community into more of a positive one.
Yeah.
But what I would say broadly is, I think people just got to think through, there's two versions of the future. We're going to produce waste. We're growing. We're the fastest growing county in Tennessee. There are two versions of our future. One is Middle Point closes. Again, we build these $25 million transfer stations. We pay $65 per ton. We send it out to who knows where, hope other counties take it. They fill up. It keeps moving farther and farther away. Your cost goes up and up and up and up and up. You have no recycling, and you have this 400-acre blob on the north side of town that you can't do anything with. That's one version of the future.
Okay.
The other version of the future is we get together and we say, we understand that this hasn't gone exactly the way everyone thought it would, but we have an opportunity now to wipe the slate clean, start over, figure out how we do things the right way, how we create recycling and diversion programs, how we bring great technology, how we generate revenue to fund important county programs. And this is a one-time opportunity, really, right now. There's a decision to be made, and I feel so strongly. I get goosebumps talking about it because no other county has this opportunity. Davidson County doesn't have the opportunity, right? And so we can have the rest of Middle Tennessee fund our future rather than being sort of the thought of being a dumping ground. Yeah. So I just like people to think about those two versions of the next 5-10 years. Yeah. I know which one I think is the best one, but in the end, everybody's got to make their own choice.
Yeah, I got you. Wow, what a message. That was really good. So I actually had one question just popped in my mind, just random as you were talking. Yeah. So since you've come in, it's no hidden thing. There are certain people in the community that have been very vocal about certain things involving the landfill. Yep. But in regards to maybe those people or just in general, like since you've come in and been trying to educate more and turn things around and quote fix things, how has that relationship with those people Is that matured, gotten better? You know, with,
yeah. Look, there's and they know who they are, and they like all these people like. They're frustrated. They've been frustrated by a lot of years of not feeling listened to and feeling like nobody cares about them. And we're not always perfect, and our job is not done. Yeah. But I think what those people know, and I think they'd be the first to tell you, is when they text me and they're like, "Hey, what is going on with this? Why is this happening? Fix this." I'm always like, "Boom, on it. We got you taken care of. You're a great neighbor. We want to take care of you." And we know each other now. And so the conversation has shifted from like, I hate you to hey, why is this happening? Help me understand. Fix it, please. Yeah. I mean, and that's how, when we're talking with each other, that's how problems can get solved.
Like any good relationship, communication is key.
Yeah, well said. Yes.
Just throwing that one out there.
Get real close and say it.
Say it real nice. We're a relationship podcast, after dark version.
Wonderful.
Yeah. No, but again, I really appreciate you coming in, and I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. I know you very busy man, so thank you very much for coming
worries. Happy to.
But maybe later on in the future, come in for a round 2. Please. We can do an update.
Yeah, heck yeah. We have a really cool renewable natural gas energy plant going in. Okay, it's about to break ground here in June. So around end of the year, Q1, it's gonna take all of the gas that we generate, convert it into renewable gas, inject it into the Atmos energy pipeline, and generate enough energy to heat 80,000 homes a year.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Okay. So that's happening. That's a cool project. You'll want to see that.
We need to do an update on that for sure.
Yeah. So that's maybe a good comeback point.
All right, cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it. And for those watching and listening, I'll put all the information you had mentioned earlier in the description if they want the website and all that sort of stuff. So they can reach out. So perfect. There you go. But thanks again. Appreciate you coming. And for everybody watching and listening, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see y'all in the next one.